Ég stödd í litlu ensku sveitaþorpi, einu af þessum þorpum sem eru svo hættuleg, mikið morð. Og ég í góðum félagskap. Hér Midsomer Murder Society, eldheitur aðdáendaklúbbur Barnaby lögregluforingja og félaga.
It began actually with 5 people discussing on an online fan forum, which is now sadly defunct, about coming to Midsomer area and having a look at the locations. We had a feeling it might be a bit more than just us 5 when we got lots of messages which said, can we join the party? We thought there might be more to it. We thought, let's see how many people would be interested. We had about 400 requests for information in the first 4 days after we said we might be doing something. So in 2008 we organised the first fan convention weekend, which had 75 guests from just about anywhere, I think from the US to obviously the UK, but also the European continent, Belgium, France.
And you've been doing this for many years now?
This is now, well, we've just had our 5th convention this year, in June. We're aiming our 6th one now. We're just about starting to discuss what we might be doing, where we're going, which locations to look at. But I've already had lots of emails saying they want to come, whatever we're doing. So it's a bit scary.
So what is it about Barnaby that makes him special?
I don't think it's just Barnaby. He's carrying the series, but it's probably because he's normal. He isn't ill, drinking, or having other problems. He's actually fairly normal and doing his job. But I think big star actually is not just Barnaby, it's also the locations and the areas that we're used to film. It's very, very English.
There's different topics that come up, and one of them that comes up every now and again is a lot of people have started watching Midsomer Murders when they've been unwell or had an accident. One person had a broken leg, was confined to home, and watched an episode every afternoon, and that really helped her through. Somebody else said they were having chemo, and they said the same thing. If you're not feeling well, it cheers you up, which is a bit strange when you think there's so many gruesome murders. But I think Barnaby, the character, is very solid and dependable, and he gets his job done, he loves his wife, and he's just a great character.
A lot of it is the humour of the programme and things like that. There's very inventive ways that the victims are killed, and there's some quite amusing plot lines and things like that. It's also a bit of it's a very light and fluffy murder programme, if you can have a light and fluffy murder programme.
Do you have a favourite scene?
I think, if anything, one of the favourite scenes has to be where the man was pegged out on the lawn and killed by wine bottles thrown from a trebuchet. And his wife was directing things from the window in the mansion. I think that was fun.
You bloody maniac!
So you're coming all the way from Belgium?
I have, yeah.
What's so special about Barnaby and his clan?
It's hard to define really, but I mean, one of the things that keeps me watching is the locations, obviously, and in the early days John Nettles, but now I mean Neil Dudgeon is doing a good job as well, so I'm enjoying that as well. Yeah.
This is the 3rd Christmas Midsomer event we've been to, but we come to all the summer events as well. So it's the start of the Christmas season, and it's a nice way to meet up with people as well. And we have a smaller, it's a little taster of Midsomer rather than the big event in the summer. So we come down and we know Christmas starting when we come down and meet all the fellow enthusiasts.
So what is so special about Barnaby and his clan?
Oh, it's a soft and gentle. It's a bit like an Agatha Christie version of murder and detective and that kind of thing, rather than a more hard, either Scottish or Scandinavian type. It's funny as well. It's definitely typically English and got a sense of humour, and it's not, you don't come away from it feeling depressed.
The favourite episode is called Painted in Blood, and I really enjoy that one. It's got a certain amount of humour in it. It hasn't got so many murders, strangely enough, but I do love that episode. It's got some great character actors. Leslie Phillips, who's really a great actor, but I really do love that episode. I could watch it again and again.
And the favourite characters?
Oh, Barnaby, of course. I don't know of the victims, or there's been so many good, if you say good murder, different murders. But I think because they're so different, you couldn't really imagine them happening to one of your own neighbours. It's something it's fantasy and it's fun.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You've written a book along with another member.
I have, yes. We've written a location guide. That's Joan and me, who's also on the committee. She's actually the one who's found most of the locations. 3 years she's been, I think, searching for since Midsomer began, where it's filmed. In the beginning it wasn't very publicised or anything, but we're getting better at finding them. We usually do location visits lots often because people want to always see where things have been filmed. We try to get into places where you don't normally get in if you knock on the door while you're driving around. Sometimes they let groups in easier than single people. Some of the years we've got a murder mystery to solve over a nice dinner somewhere, but otherwise mainly lots of location visits. One of our highlights was certainly having Dr. Bullard as our special guest. We had Barry Jackson, I think it was year 3 we did it, coming to our dinner and acting along in a murder mystery as well. Funnily enough, we asked him to be a pathologist. Don't know why we had that idea.
Have you ever been on a set when they're filming?
I have been standing in the background when they filmed the village I live in. They've used 3 times so far, and I think twice I managed to stand in the back and lurk.
I like all the characters. I think they're likeable, so I mean that's what they're trying to do. In the latest series, we've got Sykes, the dog, which is sort of a scene stealer. He gets quite a lot of attention.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The Robinsons have moved!
It must be really dangerous to live in a little village in the UK.
It must be, if you can survive it, certainly. I think, there's a lot to be said about the communities in the villages and things like that. That's not really portrayed in the programme so much. I mean, I know the programme is sold to many different countries, and it translates, I believe, to some countries as a typical English murder, which is... It's not typical English murder. They're probably a lot more mundane than are portrayed. But there's a lot more variety of life in English villages, but it's a different variety.